So I'm a big fan of time travel movies, and it's fun to see the different methods of time travel and the different issues that they explore. The classic time travel paradox that I haven't really seen any time travel movie properly solve yet is called the grandfather paradox, where if you go back in time to kill your grandfather, that would prevent you from ever being born, and therefore you couldn't kill your grandfather in the first place. And so you wouldn't die, and so you'd be born. It's an interesting catch-22 that if addressed realistically, would probably just ruin the whole story. So time travel movies generally have some way of glossing over the paradoxes or plot holes. The Adam Project is a really fun new movie with Ryan Reynolds. If you like his sarcastic dark wit and dry humor, you won't be disappointed here.
Cute kid.
Precious. Isn't he? Don't you just want to hold him underwater till the bubbles stop? Oh, I freaking hate myself.
But the plot and time travel does have a lot of twists and jumps, so if you've seen the movie and you want to unpack it, you've come to the right place. This discussion is going to be heavy on the spoilers, obviously, so if you have not seen the movie, stop here, go watch it, and come back. We open in 2050, where time travel has already been invented. A 50-year-old Adam has just stolen a jet and is trying to time jump back to 2018. But let's go back further and lay out the whole timeline as it happened in chronological order according to Adam's fixed time. In 2018, his father Lewis invents the magnetic particle accelerator, called the Adam Project, which was the technology that would eventually be used to create time travel. Lewis dies only a couple years later, leaving his wife and 12-year-old son. Adam grows up with bitter memories of his father. In college, he meets Laura, and they get married. He becomes a great pilot, but the future turns out grim and horrible. Laura discovers a record of someone return jumping from 2018, but no record of anyone going there in the first place, which meant that the future from which they left had already been changed.
Well, I don't get it. How could it come back if it never left?
Unless someone went back and altered the time stream so the future the jet had left from had already been changed.
Let's explain that for a minute. Let's pretend you're broke, and so you get into a time machine and go to 2018 and tell your past self a bunch of future events that you can use to get rich. Then you come back to today. Your 2018 self has used this info to get rich, so when it comes to this year, you're not broke, and so you have no reason to travel back in time. The events of the past already changed the future. So Laura realized something happened in 2018 which might be what caused the future to be the disaster it is, so she jumps back. But she never returned. Maya placed an altitude bomb on Laura's ship. She managed to eject, but was stranded in 2018 without her jet. So she just waits for 4 years, hoping Adam will come back for her. Also, think about the time in which she was stranded. It was the coronavirus, and everyone was on lockdown anyway. So that was either a really bad time to get stranded for 4 years, or a good time, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, Maya told Adam that Laura's jet broke up on re-entry and that she died. But he didn't buy it. She was too good at re-entry. And he knew they changed the jump logs, which meant they were hiding something. So, intending to find her, he goes full action hero. He steals a jet. Maya pursues him. He gets shot in the abdomen. And this is where the movie begins. He intends to jump back to 2018, but he jams the coordinates and doesn't have time to check them. He blocks Maya's tracker and jumps. And he mistakenly lands in 2022, about a year after his father's death. He is discovered by his 12-year-old self.
Take it easy.
Or, fall down and scream.
Which turns out to be a good thing because he's able to use his own DNA to restart his jet. He can't start it because he's injured, which honestly seems like a pretty big design flaw. Imagine not being able to start your car because you got wounded. Now here is where the time travel is explained. Kid Adam realizes that old Adam should remember this event from his own history. But old Adam explains there's one time where you belong on the quantum level, called your fixed time. When you leave your fixed time, you won't share these newly created memories with your past self until you go back.
When I go back to my fixed time, our memories, they reform, they reconcile. But not while I'm here.
So by being here and telling me this, you may have just changed my whole future?
Honestly, your future is pretty tragic either way.
That's when Maya shows up in 2022, hunting Adam, and Laura, who has been living here since 2018, also shows up. Oh, and we find out that dying outside your fixed time is messy.
Dying outside your fixed time is messy!
They flee back to Laura's place, but Sorian is hunting them. Here we learn that, no surprise, Sorian was the one who went back to November 2018, right after the magnetic particle accelerator went online, to give her past self tips and future advice on how to amass her fortune by gaining control of the Time Project. But in this 2022, it's too late to do anything. The future has already been changed, and 2050, as Adam describes it, is like Terminator on a good day. The only way to put everything right is to prevent time travel from ever being invented. Adam fears that destroying time travel will erase their history, but she says no, even if we correct the time stream, our history did happen, and hopefully they can just find each other again like before. So the Addams family goes back to 2018 with no plan other than ask Dad for help.
Dad.
But Maya warns him that he only has one jump left, so he can't come back. In 2018, they find Lewis, who explains that his theory was that with a powerful enough pulse, you could create a wormhole in space. Of course, he's stunned to learn that it did, in fact, lead to time travel.
I'm the godfather of time travel?
Meanwhile, Maya shows up in 2018 for a second time. Okay, this is getting complicated, so quick recap. Young Maya was good enough, but evil 2050 Maya came and told her how to take control of everything. That's the jump Laura noticed. Now, after Adam went back in time, evil old Maya goes to 2018 for a second time to prevent him from foiling her plans. 2018 Maya is not fully on board with being evil yet, so 2050 Maya has to do some villainous monologuing, but really she's just talking to herself like some crazy person. Lewis and the Addams go to Saurian HQ to destroy the flux capacitor by destroying a hard drive which contains the algorithm, but the Mayas show up, and in the altercation that ensues, the electromagnetic seal is broken and the giant magnet is turned on. And here's where the biggest suspension of disbelief is required, because many metal things are not affected. Like the buttons on his jacket are pulled off, but the hand railings are fine. His watch stays on. The giant doors are ripped from their hinges, but other metal things aren't affected at all. Anyway, fortunately, armor-piercing bullets contain a magnetic steel core, so when Maya tries to shoot Lois, the bullet veers off and kills young Maya. Old Maya explodes because she wasn't on her fixed timeline. With time travel destroyed, the two Adams who time traveled don't immediately disappear. Old Adam says it probably just takes some time for 30 years of changed time to sort itself out, so they all go have a good bonding moment until they vanish. In the next scene, we see young Adam's memory catch up and correct itself. He changes his attitude towards his mom. Then we flash forward to see Adam and Laura meet again, like before. He probably has some memory of his description of this event, which was explained to him by old Adam around 7 to 8 years ago on his new timeline. So it's not split timelines or alternate dimensions. That's the stuff of movies. This is real life, where time travel is messy and corrects itself. This also means that when they vanished, the other two Adams didn't just jump back to their timelines from before. They ceased to exist. Adam in 2018 on their new timeline is the only Adam. Of course, the bigger theme of the movie is fatherhood. While old Adam recalls his father's parenting with bitterness, young Adam remembers it differently. He says, "You made yourself hate him because he died."
I think it's easier to be angry than it is to be sad. And I guess when I get older, I forget that there's a difference.
In the end, he has an opportunity to tell his past father face to face that he needs him, and for this father to tell him not to carry around that weight anymore. It's a rare and hopeful moment that many people wish they could have. The opportunity to say something unsaid after it's too late. If only we had a time machine. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's pretty new, but I like to talk about movies, and I hope to do a lot more of it, so tune in.